Hello everyone and welcome back to X-Plane 11. Once again, check this out. Little treat here. I was not expecting Carenado to release this airplane as soon as they did, but here is the S550 Citation 2. I've been really wanting an airplane like this. Been really wanting a Citation, to be honest, in X-Plane, and here we are. After the Turbo Commander came out, I could see a trend that Carenado is really starting to step their game up. This is easily probably one of the best airplanes I think they've ever produced. For X-Plane 11, in my opinion. I did purchase this airplane. It wasn't given to me or anything like that. I did print out some of the checklists. It seems like some of it's real world stuff, some of it's not, but I think we'll make do with what we have. We are here at Southwest Florida International in Fort Myers, Florida, where we flew in last time with the TBM. This time we're going to go back to Daytona, and we're going to do, I believe, the ILS 7 left approach into there. It seems like it's gonna be a pretty decent day for flying. Not bad. Winds right now are at 047 to 3 knots here at Southwest Florida International, and we are running World Traffic 3, so we'll have traffic taxiing around, taking off, and I think we hear something in the background right now. Anyway, let's get into the nuts and bolts of this airplane. You pretty much have everything that you normally have on a Carenado airplane. You have the A for the autopilot controls. It's like an old Sperry system. It's very fluid though. It works very nice. This is your altitude selector. Up there, we have the C for the Carenado, cameras and volume tab. We've got, you know, pilot view, etc., etc. You can change the volume of the airplane, the field of view. It's really nice to have those kind of features right there. And then very basic options here. Don't mind the weather updating there. Window reflections. At night, I turn those off because they're a little bit over the top, but during the day, they look good. Instrument reflections, static elements, main door. Right now, we're going to remove the static elements, as you can see right there. We just did. Main door, we're going to shut that sucker because we are getting ready to get on out of here. Left baggage door, right baggage door. You can open these little guys in the front, as you see right there. Pretty cool. And ground power unit. We do have a GPU. Some people were trying to figure out how the hell you get the GPU to work, and I'll tell you about that. As long as you have this turned on, it will power the airplane. You'll be on GPU power regardless. So you don't have to flip a switch or anything like that. It'll just have it magically. How cool is that? All right, let's go to our weight and balance. And today we just need about 2 hours and 6 minutes of fuel. So this is what I have right here. Payload weight, you can always bring that up or down. We'll bring it up a little bit there. That looks fine to me. So that looks good. Hit done there. We'll apply the changes and we'll head up to the cockpit and check out the airplane. All right, welcome aboard the Citation 2. It is got some upgrades here. Now, one thing you won't have unless you actually purchase the Reality XP GTN 750. That's what I have right here, the Garmin 750 system. Other than that, you'll have a pretty basic, you know, system there. You have the default FMC from X-Plane 11. We won't be using that today. We're just going to be using the GTN. It's a lot quicker, and I like it a lot. But look at the detail in here. Look at the texture work. I mean, Carenado's known for having pretty airplanes, and honestly, the sound set in this thing is really good too. But sometimes they just kind of fly a little weird. We'll put that away. Get out of here. They fly a little weird, and I can honestly say, this time around, it's not the case. Let's turn that light off. Don't need that on. We have these little shades we can move around. How cool is that if you want to? Here is the back. Let's check out back here. We have a wing view here. Don't mind Frontier and Cape Air sitting over there. We've got some really nice texture work happening in here. Look at the attention to detail and the fan blades there. It is a beautiful, beautiful airplane inside and out. You can open the little table if you'd like. We're going to stow that before we take off. And we can even run up here and we can close the door, which we are going to do just by clicking right there. Close the door just like that. All right, so to power the airplane, like I said, it's already got ground power going right now. So if we wanted to, we could even turn on our avionics and get her all fired up. Let Garmin fire up as well. And everything should be good. Before starting engine checklist is what we're going to go with. We're not worried about anything else right now. Just the before start checklist. So pre-flight inspections are complete. Cabin door is locked. Passenger briefing is complete, we'll say. Battery switch is set to BAT. There it goes. So we have BAT mode. Parking brake is set. Parking brake here is kind of weird. It's right here. There's that parking brake. Wheel chocks have been removed. Seat and pedals are adjusted. Cockpit lights are set. Rotating beacon is going to come on before we start this thing. So the rotating beacon's right here. and that'll put that red light out on the tail. It's just one light out on the tail. I'll hit continue there, and I'll hit continue there. And here's everything syncing up with that Garmin. I love this little guy right here. Flight plan today, we're going to go direct to Daytona. DAB. That'll work for me. That's all there is to it. Pretty easy stuff. That's what I love about this thing. And even the charts, we can open that up and it shows you the airport chart here. When we get en route, it'll even pop up all the stuff we need for Daytona automatically. That's really cool stuff. We can silence that. Now here's all of our annunciators. We're going to clear all these. All this will be gone by the end of before we take off, essentially. Altitude selectors right over here. So let's go ahead and wind that sucker up. Let's do 10,000 feet on departure. That'll work for me. There we go. 10,000 feet is set. You can turn on these little guys if you'd like. All the extras. No, that one doesn't seem like it wants going. There it goes. All right, sweet. Anything else over here? I don't believe so. I did have to, with this, because this is your speed brakes, you have a retract and extend. I did map one of those to a switch on my X55 throttle quadrant. So if you're wondering, that's what's going on with that. Let's look outside and I'll show you the rotating beacon. And there's a Southwest airplane taking off in the background, or landing actually. And there is the rotating beacon on top. So that's the only beacon on this airplane. All right, let's go ahead and start the engines. So we're going to start the engine 2 first. So let's go ignition to the right-hand side on. Let's do a fuel boost pump to high. And we'll just click in on this guy. That's all you got to do. Got RPM rising. You can hear it coming to life. There it goes. Watching that ITT. Make sure it doesn't spike or anything crazy here. Because if we have to, we'll pull that little thing up and pull that back. But there we go. Looks like it's stabilizing there. Awesome. And as that thing's coming to life, we will come over here and we're going to go ahead and turn the right generator on. So now we'll be on that right generator power. What I like to do now is pull the ground power unit. Don't need him anymore. And the reason why is because it seems like it's very difficult for them to get underneath there and pull that out if they were on the ramp. So we'll start engine number 1 next. So ignition on. Turn that guy back to normal. Left fuel boost on. I'm not sure if you use the full fuel boost pumps or not, but I'm using it today. We're starting the left engine. There it goes. And on this one, we're going to go to the outside and listen to it fire up. All right, that is 2 good starts. Before we do our before taxi checklist, let's just go ahead and do some little housekeeping things here. Turn that guy off. We'll make sure we cycle the inverter. That should get rid of everything we need over there. So the left gen comes on as well. We have the power showing right there. Now we have the PS heater on, which is going to be our pitot, and then anti-skid. So let's make sure anti-skid is turned on. It is actually right here. There we go. And we want our pitot and static on. There we go. And the annunciator panel is clear. Let's do the before taxi checklist. Avionics power switches are on. So I guess they would start the engines without the avionics on, it seems like, but I'm not sure about that. DC amps and volts we just checked. Anti-ice systems are good. Passenger advisory lights is basically the seatbelt sign. That is on. Anti-skid on. Gyro pressure. Let's check that. It's over here. Yep. Right there. Gyro pressure is good. Fantastic. And then we have battery temp. We want to make sure that thing is not getting hot and it's good to go. Then we go to pressurization and make sure that's good. I usually keep it right between 7.5, 8. But that's pretty good right there, actually. So that's set. Then we have electric elevator trim. We're going to make sure that's set to takeoff. Now, I like to have it right about there. It seems like the takeoff tab is a little too much, in my opinion. You'll see what I'm talking about when we take off. And then we move on to speed brakes. We're going to cycle those. Like I said, I have a key binding for that, so we can actually look out the window and watch it happen. It's up. And it's down. So that is indeed working. That's what we wanted to see. Passenger seats are checked. Belts and harnesses are fastened. ATIS and clearance, we're good to go on that. Avionics, test, check, and set. We can do our tests.
TOS, system test, okay.
Okay, that one's good. First fly of the day, so we're just going to do all this.
Test start. Terrain awareness system passed. Terrain awareness test complete.
It's pretty much all the tests. Okay, those all work. We can check the other ones if we need to. Those are all good. Oh, there's that one. Engine fire one. Stick shaker. All right, so it's good to go. All those have been tested. EFIS is good to go. Inverters are good to go. And autopilot, we want to test that, so we just cycle the autopilot. Autopilot is right down here, so let's bring him up and just cycle it.
Autopilot.
All right, autopilot is good. That's what we wanted. And you can also, you know, do it all from here as well. So we turn the flight director on or off right there. We're going to go to nav source mode. Nav right here is a nav source set to GPS right there. You can change it with the up and down arrow. That is good to go. We're going to do vertical speed on the way out of here. And altitude selection is going to be good as well. Let's do a vertical speed of about, I don't know, 2,200 feet or so. That's going to be good enough for us right there. We're going to hand fly it until we absolutely need it. But that's it. So let's go ahead and release the parking brake, and we're going to test our brakes here. So let's bring the power up. And what we're actually going to do here is turn on our landing lights, which are little lights down on the gear, and bring up the power. We're moving. I have brakes. Fantastic. Let's go taxi down to runway 6 for our departure. On the taxi out, I just put the flaps down. They're there right there, set to TO, takeoff. That's what we want right there. There goes JetBlue. Oh, I keep clicking on that accidentally. There's JetBlue taking off. It's a little busy here today, isn't it? Plane over there. Little Beechcraft looks like, a little 1900 or something. There they go. That's awesome. All right, we'll just taxi down this way. Make a left. We're not going to the cargo ramp, so I think we'll be just fine there. But yeah, like I said, really, really enjoying this airplane. It is so fun to fly. Put it on map mode, and I love the 750 because you can zoom in and out. If you are unfamiliar with the airport, it's really nice to know where you're going. Okay, so before we get going here, we're going to do before takeoff checklist because we don't have a long taxi here. The taxi checklist was exterior lights, brakes, and steering. We checked all that. Flight instruments are checked. Actually, what is, I believe it's 29, what is it? Yeah, 2989er. Okay, let's double check that guy then. 29er, 89er. We'll have to do it on both sides. There we go. That looks good. Keep taxiing. And then thrust reversers we will check. So this airplane does have thrust reversers, but I don't see it used a lot unless you're on a short runway. So we probably won't even use those landing in Daytona. It's such a long runway. We'll just use the speed brakes and we'll be good to go. So let's test those thrust reversers. Those are good. All right, let's continue our taxi. And let's do the before takeoff checklist since, like I said, it's not a very long taxi. Anti-ice systems are good to go. We have them off. We have pitot, heat. Everybody's good there. Flight controls. Let's go ahead and do a test of those. It's going to be left, neutral, right, neutral, back, neutral. I'm testing the rudder. We're good there. And flight controls are free and correct. That's what we want. Flaps in trim are set for takeoff, and they are. Takeoff data is confirmed and set. Our V1 will be right around 100 knots, and I've looked at all the charts. V speeds on this airplane almost always right around 100, or anywhere from like 98 to 105, right in that range. Same thing with the VREF. They're right around the same spot. You fly the approach at 140, 120 to 117 is what it looks like on when you're on final, and then you slow down to your VREF, which is, you know, right around 100 knots or so when you're landing. So that's all we need for that. Crew briefing, we're good on all of that. Ignitions are gonna stay on. I keep them on after I start the engines because we're gonna need them anyway. So those are on. Pitot static heat's good. Exterior lights, we're gonna turn those on in a minute unless your panel is clear. Throttles will be set for takeoff and we'll be good to go. That's pretty much all there is to the Citation 2. Got an airplane landing, so we're gonna hold short here on 6 and wait for our turn to get on out of here. I love the sound set of this thing. It sounds so good. All right, holding short for this airplane landing, so let's go ahead and get ready for our departure. We just go right over here to recog lights and anti-collision for the strobe lights, and that is all there is to that. Who is this coming in to land? This is a CRJ. It's like Delta coming in. Right now on to 6, and then we're going to line up and wait. As soon as he crosses in front of us, we'll be ready to go. It was like a 700, it looks like. CRJ 700. Oh, we have a little warning. Not sure what that was about. Nope. Annunciator's panel is clear. It's good to go. All right. Wait for him to get down there. We'll do a lineup and wait. Yeah, I don't know what that is down there. It looks like it is a beach. Not a 1900, though. It's something else. All right. Yeah, let's go ahead and do a lineup and wait. Flight line is clear. Add that power. And let's line up on runway 6. All right, that King Air didn't waste any time getting out of here. He did an intersection departure. Not sure what that was all about, but all right, man. We'll just give him a few moments here. And we will bring our engine power up, which he is just about to the point where we can take off. He should be starting his turn very soon. Wait and see if that is the case. We'll wait just a little bit longer here. All right, let's go flying. Bring up the power. Okay, not sure why that thing's dinging. It's just gonna ding at us. Bring that power back a little bit here. Remember, we want that 100 knots or so here. So there's about 100 right there. And just ease on back. And we're in the air. Not too bad at all. Yeah, I don't know why we got that master warning. I mean, we had no annunciator issues or anything like that. I've had it do that to me a couple times here and there. Climb power is set. Engine sync. We can either go with fan or turbine. I'm gonna go with turbine on this one. I'm not really sure which one they would use. Passenger advisory lights are good. Exterior lights are as required. We're not at 10,000 feet yet, so we're not worried about turning off those recogs. And then altimeters are going to be set at standard at 18,000 feet. That's pretty much it. So still getting used to the airplane, you know, learning as we go along here, making some mistakes. Like I said, you know, it's always a learning process. I get a lot of people ask me all the time, why don't you fly this airplane or this airplane or this airplane? Because I like to dedicate my time to each plane and learn it correctly and fly it correctly, the best I can, at least, without being type rated in the airplane. So that's the reason why I don't bounce around from airplane to airplane so much. This thing has just really captured my interest. So it sucks that it came out right after the TBM, because I've been really enjoying the TBM. Okay, this is not picking up our flight at all. Okay. The nav says is set to arm, but it's not doing anything. So let's go ahead and go into heading mode here. Let's flip this guy this way. Yeah, we're off course. Not sure what happened there. Let's go to north. There we go. And let's go ahead and go to heading mode. So now it should go over that way and possibly, it says arm, so it shouldn't pick the flight plan up here. That's all right though. We're above 10,000 feet. See, everything happens so fast in these little jets. Recog lights come off. And our power setting is good. We're still climbing. We can bring our rate of climb down a little bit more. Climb through the cloud layer right now. All right, the airplane is tracking now back onto there. What I had to do was click the CDI button that was set to the wrong one, so that was the problem. We had a message here, Reality XP personalized. Okay, fantastic. Good to know. I love the texture work on this. Look at that right there. The golden citation there. That looks awesome. Like I said, it has the default X-Plane FMC. If you would like to use it, you can. Not too bad. We departed out of there and we were going to Daytona. Yep. Not a whole lot you really have to do there. You can do departure and arrival things there, but we're not really worried about their arrival into there. Will be ILS 7 left and no transition. You can execute that. The legs page would show it right there, be like boom, boom. And that would be the FMS if you wanted to use that, which we're doing all right. Brought our climb rate down about 1,500 feet per minute. We're at 16,000 feet right now. Once we cross 18,000, we'll go 29er, 9er 2. All right, above the 18,000 feet, let's go ahead and go 29er, 9er 2 on both sides. There we go. That's set. All right, 500 feet to go. One thing that's really cool about this airplane is you have this little fast and slow indicator, and it tells you the profile of the airplane if you're going too fast or too slow, so you don't stall it. You want to hold it right around there on the circle when we are on approach, so you know what you're supposed to be at. Although sometimes I'm at 120 or so on the approach, and it'll say fast, but once you get down to about 100, it starts coming down, and it makes more sense. So that thing is a nice little thing to have. And this also is your angle of attack indicator. It lets you know your angle of attack of the airplane. You always want to be in the green. You don't want to be near the yellow or red. Otherwise, you're going to probably stall the airplane based on the angle of attack. All right. And just like that, it captured 25,000 feet. We can just bring our power back just a tad, save a little bit of fuel, and we are at cruise. All right, so we're 63 nautical miles out. Right around 60, we're going to start our way down. So let's go ahead and get this ready to go. Let's descend and maintain 5,000 as a total for us on the way in. And this right here will do. There we go. And we'll make sure that that altitude select is on there. Altitude select when we start our way down. Remember, we are going to start here in just a few moments. And we're going to crack it open at a vertical speed of about 1,000 feet per minute. Let's go ahead about right there. There we go. And we want altitude selection on, vertical speed on. There we go. That is what we want right there. That's what I should have had it at. So you got to play with the autopilot a little bit to get what you want out of it, but that's okay. And hide that away. And we have started our way down. Let's go ahead and reduce power here for our descent. We're pretty much over Orlando. Orlando's right off our nose. Might be able to see it today. I'm not sure. Might be able to see Universal and Disney, but it looks like it's going to be all under clouds over there, so we're not going to see anything there. And can't see the Space Coast either because it's completely covered in clouds. Pretty overcast day here in Orlando, so this makes sense. Okay. We're looking good. 24,300, about 1,000 feet per minute. Once we get over Orlando, we're going to increase that to about 2,000 or so. Probably even before it. Could probably start our way down now. Let's go ahead and go to 2,000 feet per minute. That'll work. And airplane's got speed. That's what we want. Let's bring our power back to about 65. There we go. We don't want to lose too much airspeed because we want to stay going forward towards the airport here. But we are in our descent. All right, we are below 18,000 feet. Let's go ahead and change to 29er89er is what it was going to be. So let's go ahead and go 89er and 29er89er on this side. Would be just fine. There we go. So that's good to go. We're going to do a visual approach for runway 7 left. We won't worry about the ILS today because it is beautiful out. And it looks like the clouds have kind of dissipated over on this side. So that will work out just fine for us. 15,000 feet right now, looking okay. Still descending at a pretty good speed. Let's go ahead and bring our power back all the way now because we're about 35 miles out from the airport. And about right there is going to be good. So we'll pull those all the way back. You see Sanford right there off our left side. That's Lake Monroe right there. That's where I did my motovlog right there. All along that coastline. Pretty cool in Sanford there. Look at that. I love the visibility in this airplane. It's so nice. So nice. All right, zooming out, we can see we've got our airport right there. So not too bad. Bring this in. We have one airplane around our nose, but he's about 6,800 feet below us. And it looks like he is descending, so it's not even a problem. It's going to be right over the lake. Let's see if we can see him anywhere. Yeah, no, not at this distance. Not going to see him at all. Below 10,000 feet, we have our recog light on, and we are looking good here. I'm going to switch over to heading mode, actually. We're going to vector ourselves here for the visual approach. We don't want to go directly to the airport. You'll never get on a correct approach. So let's go ahead and go to heading mode. That is selected, and we are making a turn to the north now, heading 360. We're 23 miles out, 8,000 feet, and we are still descending. Oh, that still says 2. Okay. Not sure what happened there. Something got messed up to where that didn't remember our 5,000, but that's okay. Let's descend down to 3,000 now. All right, I moved over to about a 020 heading right now. We are 13 miles out, 3,000 feet coming up on right now. We should have the airport in sight. Off to the right here. There is the Daytona International Speedway right there, and the airport is just to the right of it. So we have that in sight. Fantastic.
2,500.
2,500. There we go. Descending down to 2,000 here. Let the airplane slow down naturally, and then we will add our approach, or our first setting to flap. Let's go ahead and do our before landing checklist, or approach for the most part. We turn this guy to off, the engine sync. Landing data is good, crew briefing good, belts and harnesses good, avionics and flight instruments are set, passenger advisory lights are on. Passenger seats are good. Fuel cross feeds off. Anti-skid is on. Pressurization is good right there. Yep. About 0. That looks really nice. All right. Fantastic. Engine syncs off. Flaps are going to be set to approach. So let's go ahead and go first setting the flap. And I'm actually going to go ahead and take the airplane off of autopilot here in a second, because we've got the airport in sight. That's the airport right there. That's our runway right there, actually. We just kind of do a nice right base for it. Let's go ahead and turn the autopilot off.
Autopilot.
Yaw damper off as well. My airplane. Still slowing her down. About 140 is what we're shooting for here. Add a little bit of power. This is looking just fine. And we did plug in that ILS as well. I'm at 1097 for runway 7 left. So we do have the glide slope. We can see that. We can use that as a nice reference. Our power back a little bit more here. Next setting the flap. And we can go gear down. Gears down and landing lights on. Just using that glide slope as a nice reference for our descent path here. Add a little bit of power here. There's 120. That's what we're going to be shooting for. And between 117 and 120 here for now. Still in that right downwind, or sorry, right base. We can start turning final now. It's a nice shallow turn. We line right up on the runway here. Next setting the flap. That's the last one. So it's going to give us a nice ballooning effect there. Get our power set where we want it. And TCAS is clear. I see one airplane out there about 3,300 feet out to the east, but we're all right there. A little high on the approach, bring it down. Those are fast too, so let's start getting ready to set up for our VREF. Thousand feet. Pretty happy with that right there. That looks good. There's a cool approach coming in right next to the Daytona International Speedway. Adding that power in when we need it. It's a long runway, so like I said, we're not going to be using reverse thrust, just going to be using our speed brakes here today. Okay, now we can start really going, shooting for that VREF now.
500.
We don't need to be this fast. We'll be aiming for about 100 knots here in a few moments. This is looking nice. A little low. Bring that nose up. There's our 100 knots. Add a little bit of power here. I'm not worried about the glide slope. We're not shooting the ILS, but We've got the runway in sight. We got plenty of room here.
200.
Wind whipping us around a little bit. A little gusty.
100.
100 above there, and then we are going to be reducing the power to idle right over the piano keys.
40. 30. 20. 10.
There we go to idle, and then bring that nose up, let it settle. And that kind of dropped, didn't it? Okay, glad you need to be. This thing does some weird stuff, man. I don't know why it was asking me for ground services there. That's very strange. Okay, see, we just used our speed brakes. That's all it was. And maintaining direction control with the rudder. Yeah, it was a little more windy than I thought it would be. Okay. Make a right here. Landing was all right, but man, that nose wheel came down a lot harder than I was expecting it to. Okay, bring up our flaps. But still new to the airplane, having a blast with it. I really am. We'll get better with it over time.
$200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Turn our recog light off here. And the strobes. There we go. How about that? Go taxi into the ramp. Actually, no, let's go over here to Yelvington Jet Aviation. No need to go taxiing for a long time, you know, if we don't have to. Bring the power back. And then we can go landing lights off. I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about, how we shut this thing down. Let's make a right-hand turn here. At Yelvington Jet Aviation. That works there. Bring these things to idle. Come to a stop right here will work. And parking brake is set. We can retract those speed brakes. Does not need to be out anymore. That's one thing I got to remember is that you have a little yellow light that tells you whenever those are open, and I have it set to a switch, but that's okay. Back to what I was talking about. Remember, we have these things. Click those, and then you pull them back to kill the engines. Or did it already do that? What is it doing? Not doing it? There we go. I think that was the problem. I didn't have them all the way back. Nope. I think they're dead. Okay. No? What is this thing doing? Oh, my Lord. What are you doing here? All right. There's the locks. Pull, pull. And then you should just be able to just knock them straight on back. Like that. Okay. So those are kind of finicky. I don't know what that was about. I've had the same issue of starting the engine. Sometimes they don't want to be in the right position. So get in the habit of pulling those up and pulling them back and put them back whenever you first start the airplane up or first load it in. Otherwise, you'll have some issues with that. But for the most part, that is the airplane. We didn't turn our ignitions on landing. We should have had those on. Turn the avionics power off. Yeah. We don't care. That goes to off. And that is pretty much that. We can open that up. We can go out here, open up the main door. And that is the Citation 2. That was a fun flight. I enjoyed that. This thing is a lot of fun. Pretty reasonably priced. About, I think, $34.95 or something like that. But anyway, that's going to do it for this episode of X-Plane 11. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.